what you're trying to express,
Yeah.
and then you're not willing to learn in the process.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
For me, I would say confidence stems from a place of high self-esteem.
Okay. Confidence stems from a place of high self-esteem.
And pride comes from a place of looking down on others or thinking you're better.
So pride comes from the place of looking down on others and thinking you're better. What if you really are better? You know, because thinking that you're better. What if you really are better? Right? It's acknowledging that you are better, a sign you are proud. Who else want to attempt? Difference between confidence and pride.
For me, confidence comes from a place of experience. I already did it, so I know I can do it. I'm confident. I'm going eye closed. But pride can come from any place. You can take pride from something you didn't even do. Like when you see people saying, I'm proud I'm black. It's not yours being black. You didn't decide it. You didn't make it. But I'm proud. I'm a mom. I decide to have kids. I'm taking care of them. I'm doing well. I'm confident.
That's still confident. We're talking about the pride in terms of negative pride. What's the difference between being confident, because that's still more of confidence. That, oh, I'm a proud mom. That's being confident that you're a mom and you truly are. So, because a lot of times in Africa, we judge people by this. This is a big thing for us in Africa, whether people are proud or not. Right? And my argument is that there's a thin line between pride and being confident. It's just a very thin line. Okay? Very, very thin. Number two, I think the subject of pride is, by the way, I want to hear from those of you on IG, difference between confidence and pride. Can you guys type it? We want to hear from you as well. But for me, CTEX on IG says pride has to do with past achievement. I mean, if you have achieved something, you should be proud of it. You know, so, but here's my advice and my own take on it. I think there's a thin line between pride and confidence. But here's what I would say, and we should take note of this. Confidence is you acknowledging who you are, having a very good esteem of your strengths and weaknesses, but particularly your strength, and leveraging on your strength, okay, to give other people, comfort in doing business with you as relates to those things. Now, pride is doing all those things I've said, lacking empathy. That's what I want to say, but you didn't say it.
That's what I was also trying to frame.
Right? But I think pride is just lacking empathy. Right? Just understanding that, yes, I am these things, and I'm proud to be those things, but there are some other people who are less fortunate, less privileged, and it's okay to consider them and see what we can, or acknowledge that, or, it's just showing some level of empathy. For example, Donald Trump is one of those that I think has confidence but lacks empathy, right? And I think that's part of the reasons why it's like the world have issues with him. Because those things he says he's done, he's really achieved them. The man was president for 4 years. There was no war. You can hate him, but he massaged the ego of Putin. And the guy didn't go to war. He massaged the ego of North Korea and Kim Jong-un. And the guy decided not to go to war. Right? You remember how he keeps saying, oh, he's my friend. Putin is my friend. The whole rest of the world got angry, but he avoided war. But the point is, for Donald Trump, there's no empathy. It just rub it all in your face. Just get it all in. So I think as you rise up, you must learn to balance the place of, yes, this is who I am. This is my achievement, but bringing in empathy. So, for example, I realize anytime I talk about that I'm a successful entrepreneur from Africa, some people feel uncomfortable. Right? Naturally, I could just read it in the room. So what I've learned over the years is to then share where I'm coming from. Once I give that context, suddenly, oh, they're happy. They're excited, and people are opening up and like, hey, I would love my story to be like that as well because I have that background, right? So just sharing my background brings the empathy aspect of it to play. Does that make sense at all? And then people are suddenly say, hey, I can relate to this. Now I see the sense in it. Even oftentimes when you see people who say, I don't want to be rich. That's not true. They want to be rich. They just don't like the lack of empathy aspect that they seem to have seen with so-called rich people. Where it looks as if they have so much money and there's so many other people who have nothing. So I remember a gentleman chatted me today and said, so I said something about, I did an article and I said, this is just 1% of what God has shown us as to where I'm going in terms of life, business, success, that I'm just scratching the surface. And the person said, with the billions touching your account, you still think you're on 1%? So I had to immediately reply, I said, I don't have billions touching my account. I'm a businessman. As the money comes, it goes. And this is just, guess what? An average African believes so. Do you know some Africans think Dangote actually has $20 billion in his account right now? Because Forbes says he's worth $20 billion. That's not true. He doesn't even have... I can bet you that Dangote does not even have $500 million sitting in any account anywhere as I speak to you. Because the money has gone into the business, right? He's trying to buy crude, he's trying to do this, he's trying to pay contractors, he's trying to... But what they're saying is that when you sum up, everything, the guy is worth X. So you see an average person just hates you for being rich. In their mind, see them, see one of them, see them. I've seen people like that who just, he's one of them. And I'm like, you didn't even ask whether I've done politics. I've never taken government contract. I'm a private citizen, business guy. So don't add me and just say, see them. They are the problem of Africa. I'm not the problem of Africa. I've provided 300 jobs. I'm part of the solution. Don't you get it? Because if my business stops working, it means 300 people will need to pay house rent. They will need to send kids to school. We need to change this mindset and attitude about it. So, what am I saying? You need to be confident about your dreams to want to be wealthy. Because if you're meeting a billionaire and he's sensing that you're not even confident about wanting to make money, right? And how do you want him to help you? Because should he help you to become something you're not even proud of? Am I making sense at all? However, also, they also want to see that you have some empathy. That when you are helped, you also have genuine desire to also help other people. Does that make sense at all?
Yes.
I don't care who is the billionaire that you know anywhere in the world, and I don't care what you've read, what you've seen. All billionaires in the world are givers. All of them. I don't care who you think of. All of them. Some don't talk about it. And I think that, and for some it's for religious reasons. They just feel, why will I be bragging about helping people? Right? And because they don't do that, then we just feel that they're not helping people. I get requests about between, let's say, 10 to 50 every day, different people I don't know from anywhere, wanting me to help them. And sometimes I'm like, I hope you know I'm an African man. That's for every African is tied to 250 people. I don't know whether you understand what right? And every African man is tied to 250 people. The least. Right? And everybody needs his help. And I'm even talking of people who know him, cousin, auntie, brothers, sisters. So I already have my own fair share of people I need to help. So first of all, don't make it look as if, oh, I just have money stashed somewhere. I don't even know what to do with it. I'm just looking for who will come and say, oh, I need your help. And I'm like, oh, I've been waiting for you. I didn't even know what to do with all this money. It's just sitting there. That's not true. An average African, whether you're rich or not, there are too many people asking you to help them. Do you agree with me? Talk less of when you are now rich. Everybody's on, including ex-employee. I still helped an ex-employee who had left my company like 10 years ago this month. She's been on my neck for like 2 months. So you will always have these bills. So be confident about your dreams. Are we together now?
Yes.
But show some empathy that, hey, as I rise, I genuinely want to help people. I genuinely want to also be in this position so that I can be in a position to pull other people up. When I see, even when people come to me, that all that is in your dream is all about you and your family, there's no point helping you. Right? If it's just you and your family alone, there's no point. Right? There's no point. You know, it has to be something bigger. So I want you to write it down, your bigger why outside of your family. So just write it down. So that you go and do is an assignment. So just write it down. I need to draft my bigger why. Okay? Outside of me and my family. For wanting to be a billionaire, wanting to be rich. You know, I told you earlier, the billion is just a figure. You know, we're going to an era where being a millionaire, you might still be poor. Because inflation is not going to drop anytime soon. The way the world is going, things are going to become more difficult. Tax will keep rising, right? Nations will keep raising tax, and it will become a lot more difficult. Even when people make so-called millions, you know, okay, let's say you make $1 million a year. What we don't realize is that right now, I think it's 40% depend on countries. Now, that is the direct one. How about the one on VAT? Every food item that you're buying, they're still taking taxes from that. Am I making sense at all? So technically, you made $1 million a year. What really came to you was 500,000 or less. And you still pay your rent, you still pay your car mortgage, you still pay your tax, you still pay all of these bills. So we need to know that this whole dream, and like I said at the beginning, our parents didn't intend to be poor, for those of us who came from a poor home. In fact, they were doing well when they started life. My dad, for example, said he was the first to own a car in his family. He was the first to own a bike. But I grew up knowing my dad to be a poor man. Okay? And the reality was, he never calculated that having 5 children meant that he needed to maybe increase his income, you know, before the children grow. And as they're growing, those bills will keep rising. I mean, I look at my life right now when my wife talked to me about the bills for our kids. I'm like, are you kidding? So, if I had not worked hard to have been this financially free, do you mean I would have just landed in poverty just by the virtue of having 3 children? Because suddenly, the amounts my kids are paying as school fees is just ridiculous. Ridiculous. I'm like, and they're still in primary school. So what happened in secondary? What happened when they are going to... Right? So many of us don't know that we're already on a straight road to poverty. Straight. Directly. Right now. With every single actions we're taking. We don't know yet. Right? Unfortunately, again, as we Africans love to do, we still play victim at the end of the day. Oh, I never knew. Oh, life is unfair. Oh, see the world. But hey, you could have taken a step back and just analyze. If I'm going at this rate, right? where will I end up? So please take the subject of becoming wealthy seriously. This is about your life, and you don't have two lives. Just one. Okay, the second point under billionaire code is the routine code. I noticed that all billionaires I've met, including myself, we have a routine. Something done again and again, consistently. How many of you know that Cristiano Ronaldo donates blood virtually every month, and he's been doing this for 20-something years? Yeah, right? Now, I'm not asking you to go and start donating blood.
That's the code.
Right? You know, everybody has to figure out their code. But the point is, there's a routine you need to begin to get used to. And the routine is in different phases. Routine as relates to writing. Routine as relates to reading. Routine as relates to your health. Routine as relates to exposure in life. Routine as relates to giving. Am I making sense at all?
Yes.
But you have to build certain routines and study those routines and the benefits of those routines to you, to your life, to your wealth. I, for example, noticed 2 routines around giving that has helped me to build wealth. I can't explain them, but they work. Take sending money to my biological and spiritual parents. Right? It isn't much. It's just a token every month. But I notice it work. There are times where I've been down to 0 and I just go visit my adopted mothers. You know, and I come bearing gifts. Boom, 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 boom. Things just start working. Okay? And what I took there wasn't something big. It was just, right? So now I've made it a routine to take care of them. Are we together now? Okay? One other routine I realized is also that of just giving generally. I call it institutional giving. And it's the highest form of giving. Institutional giving. So creating a form of giving where you don't even meet the people who are benefiting. They don't even get an opportunity to say thank you. Right? And even if maybe because you have to do presentation, but it's not something that you build a relationship where they will come back one day and pay you back. Right? Giving that people can't pay you back. Giving to people who can't pay you back. Or giving for the sake of not necessarily wanting to get it back. Because a lot of us give to family members, net relatives, cousins. Of course, even if they don't give you back, they talk about it in family meeting. Who is a responsible family member? Well, you've gotten something back already. Right? Good standing with the family. Okay? But the type of giving where you can't even get anything back out of it is one of those powerful type of giving I have done, and it's opened a lot of doors. But like I said, the routine, you need to study different sectors. I hope you took notes, but of course you'll read about it. But you could scrutinize your life, study your life, and analyze your life and say, what are the new routines, health routines, eating routines, spiritual routines. You may not be religious, but everybody should trust something, should believe in something, right? Even if it's energy, well, it's still something you believe in, okay? But everybody should do their best to be spiritual, because in reality, they can call it energy, they can call it, when you die, something left you, something we can't touch, isn't it? Which is why your body is empty.
That's true.
Can we touch that thing that lives? Oh, your heart stopped beating. Right? But what makes it beat? There's an energy that makes it to beat on its own, isn't it?
Yes.
And then the energy left, that's why it's no longer beating. Am I making sense at all? So some people will call it the spiritual you, the spirit you. Because man has a spirit, he lives in a body, And he has a soul, a mind. So there's your body, there's your mind, and there's something we can't touch about you. Something we can't see, but it's there. Does that make sense at all? So we have to face that reality that you must figure out those routines and do them. One of my routines, spiritually, is Thanksgiving. Right? If I start every month dancing, I put on good music and I dance. I just tag my makeup. And it has nothing to do with me making money or not. If I remember when I got married, so sometimes I could be my wife and I would just say, thank you, Jesus. I would say, what happened? As money entered. This was desperate. This was desperate season in our life where we needed money. So once I just say, yeah, as a lot entered, we have bills to pay. And I be like, no, I'm just thanking God. I mean, I can imagine how disappointed she has always been. But for me, I'm just grateful that I'm alive. A living dog is better than a dead lion. That I'm alive, there is nothing I can become. It's a proof that there's a greater tomorrow for me. So build a routine of gratitude. That's one of those spiritual routines you should build. A routine of gratitude. Right? And just picking that culture, even with people. Let me tell you one of the major habits that changed my life about wealth. I call it the honor code. The honor code. So typically, I'm just a very confident person and I don't naturally feel, I believe every human being is created equal and everybody's special, right? That's my belief. But I realized that mindset made me to take people for granted, and that made me to lose some opportunity. So I then changed it. So now, occasionally, I just honor people in my life. A particular day, I decided to take my wife, and we took a trip in a private jet just to honor her. It was our anniversary. In fact, I remember when I posted the video, people said, it's your anniversary. I said, no. It's just to honor her.
Wow.
Just a choice.
Wow.
Right? Are we together now?
Yes.
And I realized that suddenly changed my life 360 degrees. As December is around, I'm already thinking people in my life, what gift will I send to them? What can I do that will just show honor to them? What can I do that will just be special? That will just put me in a special place in their heart. And this thing got me richer, ladies and gentlemen. Because suddenly, people started thinking good about me. They sit down in their corner, and I said, this guy has treated me special. What can I do for him? And so I started getting things I really didn't merit, because I also treated them special than they actually should have been treated. Am I making sense at all? So I'm hosting some people in January in the US. So I've told them, I say, I need a Rolls Royce, I need a Lamborghini, I need this, I want a driver, I want them to feel special right from the airport. Some of you say, but it's because you have the money. But you can start in your own small way. Am I making sense at all? You can start your own small way. There's a woman who brought her way into my heart. I call her my mother, my grandma. She's 83, she's based in London. And the only thing she does was food. Anytime in London, my son, can I bring food? And she will meet the end. Now, in fact, many times I always say, I don't bother, I've already ordered. So it's not the money, But that somebody will take their time, go to the market, cook the food. Now they've earned a special place. How do you honor people? Gifts. So when there's nobody important in my life, I'm going to see them, I have a gift in my hands. It's not about how expensive it is, but it just speaks about, oh, you thought of me. You're treating me special. And people don't know this. This event is a way of honoring those of you who come. I'll spend more money to put it together than the books you will buy. Am I making sense at all? But I could have just done it at any random venue. No. But part of honor was to get a venue. Or they charged me 1,000 francs. Okay, arrange it. There's a notepad. There's water. Yeah, I'm not charging you to come, but I have to honor you. Even though we're just meeting. And now I'm in your heart. True of us. Now you start thinking about me. Oh, this guy has opened me up to things I never thought of. And to think that he didn't even charge me for it. Oh, no. My goodness. What a man. Habits of billionaires. Ultimately, remember we didn't call the book the billionaire book. We call it billionaire habits. Because your habits will determine your decisions. And your decisions will determine your destiny. Once you start, it's the habit that needs to start first. Unfortunately, a lot of us want to be richer, but no, it's the habits of rich people that make them rich. I know a very rich man in Nigeria. He has those strange gifts. Strange. A man told me he went to visit this man, I'll not mention his name. And the man gave him $200,000 cash. Someone went ran mad. Billionaire habits. If a man, he didn't do anything, or he just went to visit him, and he gave him $200,000 cash. If I was telling me, he said, my favorite car in this world, the man gave me. You just wake up randomly like that and just think, this person, send this gift to me. A very, very powerful relationship I built in my life. The man was doing his 60th. He's a pastor. Right? I reached out to people close to him. Got his account number, sent him the money. Sent him some money. But it wasn't the money that mattered to him. I made sure they got the biggest cow that you can find. Right? And I said to him, it was the cow that got his attention. That got his attention. When he called me, he said, and funny enough, we've never met up until that point. But I've been blessed by his ministry and what he does. If I went at the convention, I said, well, can I come do internship during holiday? Right? He was just so excited that somebody wasn't even that close to. We sent him a whole fat cow. Now, is it that he can't afford it? No. But you see, rich people don't always get gifts. Everybody wants to take from them. Everybody feels, they don't need anything. What can they help me? So when they then see you doing something different, they treat you differently. Is this helpful?
Yes.
The final book, and we'll wrap up. Once we're done with the final book, I'll take your questions. And then after that, those of you buying the book, I'll be signing it for you. We take picture. So like I said, it's 47 Swiss francs, but I'm allowing you to take it for, I think most of you are students, even though I don't consider a student. I allow you to take it for 30 30 Swiss francs. And then if you're taking the entire 4, allow you to take it for 100 Swiss francs. But I can assure you, it will be one of the best investments you've ever made in your life if you read it and then you apply it, right? Because it's not just about buying books, it's creating the time. And I assure you, it will be worth more than the master's and the PhD you're doing in terms of the impact in your life. Write it down today, right? If you read it and you practice what you glance through. So next is called the Billionaire Land Banker. Talks a lot about real estate. So the first lesson here was, and it's very important that I want to pick up, is analyzing successful people in the world who have invested in land banking. Right? So in the book we looked at a few Nigerians. We look at some who are not Nigerians. So I'll start with the Nigerian. We looked at a man called Chivrazak Okoya. He's a tailor. He started his life as a tailor. And he's today one of the richest people in Lagos, Nigeria. Okay? Yeah, the book is, for those of you asking online, it's $47. You can go to Amazon and buy it. Right? For those of you joining on IG. And from being a tailor, he's become a very wealthy man. In fact, he became an industrialist. And one of the powerful things he does, he buys land in places that are not yet developed, set up industries there. But guess what? Population growth catch up. He sells those property at a much higher, like I'm talking about 5,000 times more than what he bought. Goes by another bush, build the industries again, and then continues the cycle. Right? Just using land bank. Another person who does this is Dangote as well. Another new person doing this who is not a Nigerian is Bill Gates, and we talked about it in the book as well. Bill Gates currently is one of the fastest land bankers in America. He currently owns over 400 and 200, I'm not sure, I think it's 262,000 or 400 and something like that. Acres across different states in America. And it's been recently, I'm sure by now, he will have acquired way more. Right? 262,000. And guess what? 242,000 are farm lands. So they are not even near city centers. Right? So I became rich by buying land in bulk near to a major city, with the hope that population will catch up. So what happened to me were some lands I bought as low. Are you with me? Some land I bought as low as $200. Today I'm going for $50,000. Yeah. And I'm just talking about 7-8 years ago. And some of them I bought 1,000 plots, 2,000 plots. That's the wise thing I did. I secured larger portion. I was not paying in installment. Right? It was one of the wisest thing I did. But of course, it wasn't that easy because I had to do a lot to secure the land, fence the land, get security people to be on top. It made sense because I'm buying in bulk, so those overhead costs, can be justified. And I'm also reselling. So what I then did, after a few years, I started selling a little portion. I still keep a large portion unsold because we're still going to do a lot more. Build houses, build malls, build schools, build hotels, build hospitals on those land. So if you think I'm rich, watch out. That's why I told you I'm just scratching 1%. Right? Because of the structure that I've done. And I've taught it that a lot of you can start. I met a man, it was the land he bought when he was a student that he still lives on today. In fact, that's what bailed him out because he was not able to build more to rent, and it's the money from the tenants, they live together at the same place, that he's using to take care of himself till tomorrow. What if he didn't buy the land? And it was from the little money they were giving him as a student that he used. Because it's not what you don't have that limits you, what you have, but you don't know how to use. And a lot of us haven't studied elders. You didn't sit down and analyze. This person is a rich man. He's an African. How exactly did he make his money? I don't want to go into gossip. Because many of us get into gossip. Oh, don't mind him, it was government contract. Oh, don't mind them, they are the problem. Don't join those nonsense. Right? Sit down and use your medulla oblongata and analyze the decisions of people who are ahead of you. Right? Now, you may not even like the ones who are Africans. How about the ones who are not African? I'm sure if you do some research right now, you will know the richest real estate guys in Switzerland. Right? If there's a biography about it, what did they do? What was the step? How was it? If you can send them a gift so you can get closer to them and ask questions. Right? How did you do it? What step did you take? You know, we have a very arrogant generation who feel they don't need to learn anything from anybody. Right? We have a generation that just want to use people. Once they see someone, the first thing is, what can I get? Without thinking, how much value can I add? Right? Are we together now? But if you are serious about building wealth, real estate is the way to go. You know why? Every economic activity requires real estate to function. A school needs land. Hotel needs land. Oh, but you don't understand. I'm a policy advocate. Well, for your policy center, you still need to build a center. You still need land for the center. Right? Oh, I'm a manufacturer. Well, go ahead and manufacture without land. You manufacture in space. So it does not matter what you want to do in this world. You need real estate as the backup for it. And if you don't prioritize real estate asset acquisition, you are in trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, big trouble. Big time trouble. Because you will have to do all the work. In fact, if you're not careful, it then looks as if all the work you did was for your landlord. I always say this, that landlords are rich in their sleep. You know why? Tenants go to work for them. How many people can afford not to prioritize their rents immediately they get money? Except you want to sleep outside. Every money that comes in, the first thing you're thinking is rent. You're a student now. You know, it sounded like, oh, I'm not a worker. But what was the priority? Rent. Where to stay. Right? If you don't have where to stay, you won't be able to go for the lectures. So, real estate is critical. The next thing I want you to understand about real estate, and you can read more about the book, is that real estate is dimensional, is multi-dimensional. And number one, real estate help you is a way to make money. Okay?
Yes.
You're able to what? Make money. So it's an asset class that is dynamic. Real estate help you to save money. Real estate help you to multiply money. Real estate help you to transfer money to the next generation. Now, there is no other asset class that will do all of this. You can try it out. Forex. What does it do? Multiply money, but it doesn't even save it. Right? Shares. If you buy shares of companies, what does it do? Multiply it. It doesn't save it because it can go lower than their actual amount. And once it's an asset class that goes lower than how much you put in, you can't even call it saving. Right? Because saving means at least the real capital is guaranteed, right? So shares will multiply, but it won't save, and it depends. Sometimes if they don't, some of my mother's shares now, we don't have the certificate, so we couldn't collect anything. So even transferring it is relative, right? Just so that you remember it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because some asset class can do 1, some can do 2, some can. But real estate is the only one that will do the entire 4 for me. Does everybody understand how real estate does this for? Huh? Huh? We understand? Real estate will help you to make more money, right? Because, I mean, you buy a land and you could see that tomorrow it's worth a lot more. Real estate helps you to save money. Hardly will you ever buy a land. I don't know of houses fluctuate, but even at that, it's just for a few periods it goes back, right? But if it's land, hardly do you buy a land and the price goes down, particularly land. And then real estate helps you to multiply money. So you can buy a property. I just told you some about $200, right? True to God, today now is going for over $50,000 in a matter of less than 10 years, right? Real estate help you to transfer the wealth to the next generation. Once your family have the document of your property, even if you don't have a will, they can go and start selling it. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's easily transferable to the next generation, right? That's real estate for you. But many other classes cannot do that. That's why I tell people you must prioritize real estate. Start at your level. Don't come and tell me you want to start. Start where you are. Start at some level. You may not be able to afford certain things. Start somewhere. But start, right? Of course, don't go and buy bush. So some people go and buy their village. I'm from Ekiti. I will go to Ikere Ekiti and buy land. And the value in those places don't appreciate as much. So you have to understand, where is the city center? Can I buy in the outskirts where population growth will move faster? That's how you analyze buying land. Because that's where people make mistakes in Africa. We buy land based on sentiment. Where am I from? My village. And sometimes you may not be from a village where the value of property rise higher. Does this make sense to talk? So it's not about sentiment. Many of us took risk. We came to strange land. We bought houses in strange countries. Yet we cannot buy house in the city center of the country we are from, because we are not from that tribe or that part. What is often missing, and I will shut down and take your questions or contribution, is knowledge. So I tell people, always invest in the knowledge of an investment before the investment itself. Are we together now? So don't go rush into real estate. Go for training on real estate. I have a lot of trainings on that. Most of them are virtual. I even have another one taking place in London next Saturday, right? It's for 5 hours from 1 p.m. London time to 6 p.m., right? You can attend. It's physical and virtual. So if you're in London, you can be part of it. If you're not in London, you can join virtually. Get the knowledge, understand it, right? Because oftentimes as Africans, we just rush to put our money into things, and then we then realize maybe we didn't do it right, and we start spreading that negativity to everybody else. Oh, that's how I did that business. Oh, I lost all my money. And everybody is now scared to do that because they just generalize. Meanwhile, it was because you didn't even understand what you're buying. For example, I just told you now, if you just go and buy land in your village, you can be there for 5 years and the value didn't go up. Now, for you to now be telling everybody, oh, that's how I bought land in my country and the value didn't go up. No. You didn't go for training where you could then analyze what part of your country will the value of land appreciate faster. Does that make sense at all? Or you bought property and then you lost it. Or maybe government, there's a lot of story now in Nigeria, particularly Lagos, about demolition of houses. Now, most people are just shouting, oh, don't buy a house in Lagos, they'll demolish. Again, lack of knowledge. They were not just demolishing houses. If you go and check the video, they did a drone video. There's a drainage part in the whole of Lekki axis, and people went to build houses, and I'm talking about like more than 10 kilometers. Houses on top of where drainage was supposed to pass. So, building, some will say, but we have C of O. If you have C of O, C of O is not equal to building permit. C of O just means the right of occupancy or certificate of occupancy. But what is occupying that land is relative. It could be a zoo, it could be farm, it could be fishery, it could be garden, right? So you see people just shouting, does the land have C of O? Having C of O does not guarantee permit to build. Am I making sense at all? So people don't have education. Now you see again, negative words out there. Don't buy from Nigeria. Don't buy from Lagos. You know, and we love to spread bad things about our culture, about our country, about where we're coming from. I mean, you and I saw how hurricanes and a lot of things happen in the Western world, right? How many of us have gone to spread bad news and say, don't invest in Houston because hurricane can take your house, or don't invest in Florida? You know, we have a way of just, you know, putting so much negativity about Africa, where we are from, and that's why I call her Mama Africa, but I agree with her views about Africa. Have you gotten value today?
Yes, absolutely.
Are you happy you came?
Absolutely.
Huh?
Yes.
Come on, we talk about confidence.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Good. So I'll take your questions now.
Right. I just want to add that with the distinction on the code of confidence, where we have the discussion on the distinction between pride and confidence. I think what you just said now relates to confidence, to pride, which you refer to as the lack of empathy. Because when it comes to the housing crisis in Lagos and the going about of demolition of houses and all of that, the people buying and building houses on the pathway of the lagoon, is either they are ignorant of the facts of the detriment of the houses they are building on that pathway is doing towards the people,
Yeah.
the less privileged people living around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And they choose to build houses there because, of course, they are richer. They could mount mansions at the expense of those incapable of building houses such like theirs with some feeling and levels enough to protect them from flood. So could that relate to pride?
No, I don't think so. A lot of these people didn't even know those houses were on waterways, you know, because they didn't even know it was part of the canal. They didn't know because, you know, once few people block it, the subsequent lands will not even show anything. And there are some so-called investors who will tell you they were dredging, right? So some of them, they've even dredged and sandfilled those places, and they just bought a land and didn't know. And that's why we're talking about the place of knowledge. So I think in Africa, we always are quick to assume that we don't like each other, we hate each other, we're arrogant, we always out to go after each other. And I don't think so. I think a lot of time we're just victim of ignorance, victim of quality information. I've been sharing it for a while now, how, funny enough, I wonder why she's not even here. How one of the students I met here, and we're talking about, oh, she's looking for a job, and I told her straight up, go get a certification, right, in the area. And she said, oh, I can't raise another 1,000 Swiss francs to go and do certification. I said, well, then you're not ready to get a job, because your certification will give you job faster than even your degree. right? And by the time I took my time, I don't have time to explain it, to break the whole process to her, I said, wow. I said, but nobody is teaching it. But again, you see how we sit down and say nobody is teaching it. Here is a training today, but did everybody show up? So it's not about nobody is teaching it, it's that people even understand that if I even want to teach you, if I charge you, you say, Dr. Stephen is too expensive. If I make it free, it will not be your priority. You tell me it's rained, the place is far, you had other engagements. So that's why somebody says, if you want to hide a thing from a black man, put it in a book. He will not read it. He will not read it. It's unfortunate, but it's true. A white man said it, but he's saying the truth. We don't read. The only reason most of you here now who are students are reading is because there is a promise that you get a degree, and there's a promise that that degree will get you a good job, which is actually a lie. You will soon realize. Okay? Yes.
In the book, you spoke about the importance of mentorship when it comes to its application to marriage and money. Of course, in this case, wealth, money. Who is your mentor, sir? And does it have a time frame? Does it ever end? Or would you say at this point where you are now, you still need mentorship, or you still have one? Or?
I still, of course, it doesn't end. Knowledge is a destination. It's never a destination, it's a journey. And I think, again, it's your generation has an issue where, I don't know whether it's technology that is giving that impression, whether it's AI, whether it's, I don't know. But it's a generation that just feel they don't need to learn from people. It's a generation that just want to blame the older ones. Reasons, I don't know why. It's a generation that believe the older ones messed up their life. Meanwhile, the older ones are also a victim of... They also didn't meet a perfect world. Your parents didn't meet a perfect world either. This may be a bit better, but it wasn't perfect. Guess what? They even lack some things you got for free. For your mom to talk to somebody else in another country, they had to write a letter. It takes months before the letter gets there. I met a part of that in my life too. Okay? So you now can talk to anybody. Technology is a leveler. Technology is an opportunity to scale. So mentorship is not a destination, it's a journey. You always need it. Grant Cardone is my mentor. Dr. Cosmos Maduka is my mentor. Depends on what aspect of life. Bishop Odepo is my spiritual mentor. For every different aspect, I have different people playing different roles. I ask them questions, I seek counsel, and I make sure it is not parasitic. So I'm not the one, because they don't owe me. The fact that they're older than I am does not mean they owe me, because like I said, or the fact that they're richer. The Cosmos is definitely richer than I do, but I've never asked him for a dime in my life. Not once. And I don't go to visit him empty. Okay? I don't. So it's a culture we must learn, that nobody owes you anything, not even your parent. Right? When I see young people talk about, oh, my parents, I think somebody was saying that I didn't, your generation, God will help. Say, I did not force myself to be born. Now, yes, there's some merit to those arguments, right? I did not force myself to be born. There are some merit, and I'm not going to deny that, hey, parents should give birth to how many kids they can afford to take care of and all of that. But again, remember we talk about pride and empathy. That is a child not having empathy on the parent. Forgetting to realize that you will soon be a parent too. And maybe you don't understand it now, but as a parent, some things will just start dawning on you like, okay. And then you will probably claim you are not that rude to your own parents, but you are rude in a way. Anyway, so you are still meeting something. So I think we should just show empathy, but you always need to learn. I started this mentorship journey from washing people's car to gain relationship. So, for example, you're a student here who is older in Switzerland that you will be proud to be like when you are their age. Maybe career-wise, maybe business-wise. I don't know, whatever it is. Maybe they are professors and you want to be a professor. Whatever it is, right? Build that relationship and be willing to say, can I come help you out with chores? I could wash your cars. I could help you with your laundry. You know, of course, there will be a bit of, there will be a bit concern if you won't look like child abuse and all of that. I don't know that you understand what I'm saying, but you at least offer it. Right? If they say no, say, okay, but at least can I come to your house and spend some time with you and pick your brain? When you go, insist on take clothes and start cleaning the thing.
Even in academia, could I assist you with some research?
Exactly. In the academia, I can help you with any research you want me to do, whatever. But when people see that level of humility, I don't care who they are, whether they are white or black or yellow, honor is honor. Everybody wants it, no matter where they are from. Okay? And if you can display it, you will be well treated. And they will reciprocate. One thing you must know, and it's a secret of rich people, they don't like owing. So make sure they are owing you. They don't like owing. Because they are rich, they have the money. So they don't like being like, oh, you did them a favor. They want to do more. And let it be a race.
Okay.
That's a better race, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
Let the person feel they want. Let them be busy thinking of what can I do that will be special for this person. That's a better way to live your life. Than once you call them and say, you don't do, this guy is coming again. It's going to disturb me. Right? Most of these people, when I call them, they're happy to receive my call because I'm not a burden. I'm not asking them for anything. I'm not disturbing them in any way. I hope I answered your question. Good. Yes.
I just wanted to add some part to his question and ask mine.
Mm-hmm.
Still talking about mentoring.
Yeah.
More or less like tweaking that part of this question that has to do with when you have a mentor. So there's this term they coined that aspired mentor in quotes. So when you have a mentoring relationship and at some point, maybe as a result of how you have moved in life or you pivoted, and so for some reasons that relationship gets kind of strained maybe because of different interests now.
Yeah.
So in the context of honor, also how do you manage that?
Okay, beautiful. So the beautiful thing is when you are the one that initiated the mentorship relationship, you have the opportunity to regulate the frequency of the conversation, isn't it? Right? So you might be able to know when to tone it down or to increase the tempo, which is why it's good for you to initiate a mentorship relationship. So if for any reason you think you don't need it too regular because maybe you're taking a different course, are we together now? You can always do that, but time to time send a gift. It could be once a year just to say thank you for the role you played in my life, in my journey. While there's some other, because it's important, and I'll tell you why. People don't want to feel used. There's a gentleman I helped in the US in the real estate sector. Okay, so he had just moved to the US and wanted to understand how to invest in real estate. So I was able to convince him buy a single family home, right, that is 2-story, convert the first and second floor to a 2-bedroom and rent it out. And then you live in the basement and that rent begin to be what you used to pay for a mortgage. Gave him a lot of strategy. He eventually was able to do that. Now he's very financially comfortable. Only for me to get to New York, I wasn't even, needing him for anything. But the guy who always want to pick you up from the airport, come to visit, he just want to say, hey, I'm in town. To even reply my message that, oh, welcome to New York. Oh, I'm busy. I won't be able to see me. He did not even reply. So a mutual friend of ours, Adam, was there. What's wrong with this person? I've been messaging him. He won't even respond. Because, I used to laugh when he used to disturb me that, I'm going to pick Dr. Stevie from the airport. I'm going to drop him from the airport. Because I know he's a user. It was because he needed you at that point. That's why he kept doing those things. He doesn't need you anymore. So he won't respond to your message. I felt bad. Won't you feel bad? Right? Like I said, I didn't need him to pick me up from the airport. A reply message is just, welcome, amazing, hope you're doing fine. It's been a busy time. Hopefully one of these days you come, I'll catch up with you. That's all. I don't need more than that. But for you to rub it in people's face that I just used you, I no longer need you. But guess what? You will still need me. Because I'm constantly growing. I'm constantly growing. You still need me at some point. You will. I'll give you a practical example. And that's the funny thing about someone said about mentorship online. It's the same. Mentorship is the same. There are some people that you start your mentorship program online, but make sure you can grow it to a level where they can have a one-on-one with you, even if it's virtual. Right? So where most of my mentor, I started by buying their books first. So for all of you, this is where it starts from, buy the books. Some of them, I then graduate to attending their regular seminar. Any training they are doing, I pay, and I go for it. Then later, I got to a point I could afford a one-on-one. My one-on-one is about $20,000. So most of you may not be able to afford it. So start with the book. It's a journey. Mentorship is a journey. It's not a destination. So there's a gentleman. He started as a mentee of mine in Dubai. And later, he even got a job with us and was working in our company. Now, at some point, I felt the wife reached out to me and was like, hey, he was supposed to join her in the US, and he's just reluctant due to maybe he's distracted. In fact, the wife put it to me that maybe it was the job he was doing with us that made him not to want to, come to the US. Now I'm indicted. And he's a very valuable member of the team, helps with our media. But bottom line, I fired him. Right? So that he can concentrate on his family. But guess the funny thing about life? We just got 40 acres in US. And October I was there, November. I just sent me a message and said, welcome to Dallas. Do you know I'm in Dallas now? Houston. Do you know I'm in Houston now? I'm like, how? Right? He came with his wife. The wife was so happy. Right? He still helped me to do our content. Now, he's still more used. In fact, he's now more valuable in the US than in the UK, because in Dubai, a lot of people will do media. In the US, media is extremely expensive. To cover even a wedding, you can have people charge you $5,000, $10,000. So it's not still useful. Right? So sometimes we shouldn't be selfish and just be like, we just want to use people. We don't care about their own interest. Because sometimes you still need them down the line. You may not know you will, but you will. Like, he never knew I would come to Houston and build estates and we'll still meet. But see how it worked. I hope I answered you.
Yes, and then the follow-up question, which is now mine, is how do you also balance the place of honor and differentiating from hero worship, such that people don't also misinterpret the fact that you're going to some extent in terms of honor, which could have cultural background at times. For the culture where I'm from, Yoruba, like there's a way you express some of the way you exude honor, which might be like, okay, you have to go to that extent. And even here in Switzerland, it has happened most times that probably not because of that person, but because of the office they are, I'm genuflecting, I'm like, oh no. And so, how do you balance that place so it doesn't seem like hero worship?
Very good question. I think the typical answer to that is study people. So, for example, I get embarrassed when people come to me and they're kneeling down, right? And I get a lot of that. In fact, I was in Dallas. In fact, I was just to enter TSA, you know, and the guy knelt down, pray for me, I want the grace for prosperity. You know, I felt really embarrassed, right? Yeah, is that? Yeah, it was very awkward. Very. Of course, again, remember we talk about pride and empathy. So I understand where it's coming from. So I tapped him and I said, God bless you in Jesus' name. Stand up, please. And then we moved on. But you can always study people. And like I said, there is a way to honor people without just words. You know, there's a way you start a relationship where people know this is genuine. Right? And it's not just from words. I don't know that you understand. Yes. The woman I told you, she's white. But by the guy doing a letter, making references to all our judgments and bringing out facts, it's just the same thing. I tell people, compliment people. Right? Learn to compliment people. And what I've noticed is, when you genuinely compliment people, they know. I don't know that you understand what I'm saying. Because what you talked about was something real. But when it looks as if you're exaggerating, like she dressed so beautifully, was it yesterday?
Yes.
It was amazing. Now, there's no way I say, wow, your dress is fantastic, and she will feel like it's zero worshiping. She knew when she was leaving her house that they are in trouble. I'm good today. Right? We are here. Right? We are African. They must know. So, but when it looks as if you're going way beyond really who they are. So when I show honor, I do my research. So I'm not just throwing words around. Oh, sir, you know, I've done it with President Obasanjo before. He had just was instrumental to ending the conflict with Ethiopia and Eritrea, or one of these other, Tigray or something. They had this internal conflict, right? So I then sent him a text. I said, congratulations, your contribution to ending this conflict between Ethiopia and Tigray, and I saw your handwork. Amazing. We need more fathers like you in Africa. You know, you use your position. Now, there's no way he would think that's hero worshipping. I mean, did he not do it? Right? It's just that I'm acknowledging it and taking extra effort to acknowledge that he did that. So I think we must balance honoring people and just hero worshipping, empty words, empty talks. You know, that's not what honor is about. Honor is something specific, critical. A man is doing his 60th. You send him money, you send him car. There was a purpose. It's not every day you just jump up and you're just disturbing him all the time. It was something landmark. It was something important. Somebody's coming from the airport. You took the time, arrange food, get a driver to pick him up. That's necessary, right? And it's just that the person is happy that you thought it through, right? To do that. So there are a lot of ways to do it. If you're a woman, so that you're not suggestive, okay? I could cook for you and send a mail to deliver it. How about that? Yeah. Am I making sense at all? That's make a clear sign that I'm not trying to insinuate anything, right? I just wanted to make sure you're good, you're okay, you're fine. Am I making sense at all? Or were to visit you, I come with another male counterpart maybe I'm just trying to check on you, and then I come with another mail and say, hey, this is my brother or this is my friend, and we just come to check on you, how you doing, hope you're fine, So there are ways to go about it so that it's not suggestive and doesn't make it look as if there's some hidden agenda. And there's sometimes you also give a pace if you notice they're doubting your intentions. I've been so nice to people and I notice they kind of, felt what's this guy up to. And I gave some space, right? Came back 4 months after. Same attitude. Time reviews,
Yes.
who people are. And if they notice you are consistent, they know that this is who you are and they get more comfortable. Right? Because they now know that, okay, there's not a dinner. And don't blame them for being skeptical and checking. I do that. I mean, a lot of times people reach out to me, I want to work for you, don't pay me. I say, I'm so sorry, I'm not the HR. Some of them feel offended. But I know people that came that way and became disaster. Right? A lady, she was 22, she came like an intern like that, took her to Dubai, and today the story I hear about me, from what she told people, I'm like, Jesus, this is not true. But how do you explain it? If in their mind too, at 22, I remember many people say, even with her negative words, some were even asking her, hope there was nothing sexual between the two of you. Thank God she didn't put that part. I said, no, there was nothing sexual. I mean, in their mind, hey, she's young. He was grooming her at 22. Meanwhile, thank God she didn't add that part to my crime. I don't know that you understand. So, there are times where you have been, and so new people will now be wondering, what's wrong with him? I told you I want to work as an intern. I'm just been, and then he's telling me to talk to HR. They are going through all the whole protocol. Well, we've learned from experience, right? And our hands have been burnt 1,000,000 times. So now I don't even interfere. You want to work with our company? No problem. Thank you for wanting to work, but talk to the HR. Good luck. May you pass the protocol.
Some people are saying they have questions online.
Yeah. If you have question online, please type it. I'll read it and answer. Yes.
Okay, so quickly, I just wanted to ask, we talked about investment, we talked about business as more profitable, looking at the long term to rather invest than opening more businesses. So I want to ask if you're not in real estate, because from your history building, from your history transition as in the transition of the business into real estate, it didn't start from real estate. So what I want to ask now, if you were not in real estate, what kind of business would you have? Have you ever thought of you would have invested? That's one. Then number two is that if you have, let's say, $10 million now, for example, what business would get into your mind outside real estate? What business would you invest in?
First of all, I don't know why you keep asking me outside real estate. I have told you why real estate is critical.
Yeah,
There is no single business that the backbone is not real estate. I'm not foolish to have been doing something else and then pivot into real estate. It was because I realized that was the backbone, right, to all these other things I had always wanted to do. So, for example, I was into digital marketing, we're into software development, we're into web design. We've done over 10,000 websites in the history of our company. But I shut all that down, and I'm still back in tech now because now I still need the tech to power the real estate. But the real estate can fund the tech. I don't know that you understand, because whatever tech you say you're doing without money, somebody will say end up buying it from you. And whatever amount they say they bought the company from you, you will have wasted the money and you are back to poverty. You always think you'll be able to replicate it, but guess what? In between that period, they start giving you money, you've become lazy and you didn't know. So, to replicate, That's why people like Elon Musk, when they sold PayPal, they put all that money into Tesla, they put into new companies that will still need way more money than the money they made. So that way they stayed hungry. I don't know if you get the point. But typically, we have this software, we sold it, we made money, we say we'll repeat, the same venture. Okay, those who sold Jumia, there's equity in Jumia, all these companies in Nigeria. Where are they today? Have you even heard of their name after that? No. So, first of all, if I have $10 million, I still put it in real estate. Right? It's as simple as that. Because for me, that is the backbone for all this tech, mall, cinemas. Our vision is big. Real estate is just the backbone. Right? The vision is, at some point, I won't be surprised if our companies start making electric cars. Right? So there's no sector we will not touch. But the backbone is real estate. Then, what was I doing before? If you check my book, Switch is on Amazon. I talked about the 20 businesses I was doing before. Most of them were tech related. Why not? You can do it. I even have a training on next week Saturday because we have 2 training in London. So maybe they have a virtual version you can attend. We call it the Business Opportunity Masterclass. I teach on e-commerce, crypto, forex, software vending. I did a lot of businesses, but I focus now more on real estate because it's the backbone, right? And I'm not asking you to start from there. You can start another business while real estate should be an investment. That's what I advise to people, right? So, because in my case now, real estate is not just an investment, it's also my business. There are 2 different things, right? There's the investment, there's the business, right? So I'm doing the 2, right? You can start with the first one, which is I'm just investing, and then maybe later in future it can now become a business, so that you can still focus on whatever it is that you love as a business. But trust me, you will still need real estate as the backbone for those things, and it just makes it easier. I think the lady that spoke yesterday, having that land is an equity in itself. So if she's trying to meet investors, because sometimes we think idea is special. What she shared yesterday, who can go online and Google the companies and the chemicals and all of that and start their own? Anybody can do that. There's nothing. Do you see the point? But it's the only thing is that I don't want to do the stress. But when I compare the stress, it's the equivalent of paying you as an employee. So what else are you bringing as equity? But by being able to say, I have 10 acres. By the time we convert the 10 acres, that's already thousands of dollars. Plus the work, sweat equity. Then it makes sense to them putting. But oftentimes, a lot of us as young startup, my sweat equity. Okay, you're overrating the sweat equity. And my idea. Do you know how many ideas I have that I can't execute? I expect to have 2 movie scripts. The script is ready, but there's no time to even start the movie project. So somebody will now come and say, I have an idea. Okay? Idea is in the air. First person to execute it is the owner. The same idea you are thinking, I can promise you there are more than 100 people thinking the same idea at the same time. I had an idea of doing a reality TV show in a private jet. One day I just watched on social media, a guy said he's doing a private jet pitch. Same idea, and we've never met. We've met with the guy, I've said maybe I mentioned it, and the guy stole my idea. We've never met. And of course, maybe there's a little difference in the execution, but it was essentially get a private jet, get people to pitch to you in it with some other investors that you know. It's essentially the same thing. The guy had even executed it. In fact, the day I do my own, he probably will say I stole his idea. So, idea is overrated, guys.
Someone has a question online.
Yes.
Pascal, he says, what has been your most important reason for your success?
Okay, thank you, Pascal. Though we have to end the meeting now. So I know more of you have questions, but I have 6 minutes to wrap up, so I can sign the book and we take pictures. Most important secret, unfortunately, there's no one important secret. Oftentimes, I wish I could just tell you this magic one, abracadabra. It's a combination of many factors. Consistency. 15 years plus is no joke. To have been consistent with one business for 15 years more, that's a lot. Okay, so I would have been surprised if I'm not where I am today. For those asking for London event, kindly send a DM to my Instagram. We'll send you the details. So consistency, I think, is part of my strength. And I want to encourage all of you who are here, please develop capacity to be consistent.
Consistency.
Right? Even in relationship, I see young people now, you're dating 6 people in 1 year.
Okay, in 1 year.
Are we even saying, I mean, some you, even in 1 year, you've changed, you've had, in 1 year, you've had 6 girlfriends or 6 boyfriends. 1 year.
Be consistent in business.
Right? So, exactly. So, we have to, consistency must be there. Because it will take time. Everybody say T. Come on, everybody.
T.
Things takes time.
Things take time.
Don't ever forget it. You can write it down, never forget it. Things takes time. Right? Anything great takes time. It takes time. So, even my brand, okay? I bet you, I mark my word, 5 years from now, I'll come to this same Switzerland, and the crowd and the way everybody is shouting my name, you wonder whether it was the same name.
Yes, let's do it.
No, I've been to many countries like that. My first time in Ghana, who knew I was there? Right? Today, when I go to Ghana, it's from the airport, is a VIP reception. You see the point? But this takes time. Now, somebody will now see me 5 years from now and then want to start from there. Right? I just told you, for example, how I'm not even at Shiloh and my team went with my book and people were buying the books and people were like, oh, I wish he was around. Now, the same Shiloh, I mean, for almost 20 years, I was always going as a participant. Nobody knew me. I didn't even have a book. I didn't even have a stand. Okay, even when I had stand, maybe I was selling popcorn. Right? Now, the same Shiloh, one is like a celebrity, So, this takes time. Okay? Number 2 that I would mention, which is very, very important, is get a mentor and start with their books. Don't rush to want to meet them. Buy books of people who are where you want to be. Attend seminars of people who are where you want to be. You obviously do not know how to get there. And no matter how unique where you're going, some people have gone through similar. You see, the pattern is similar. It may not be the same. You may want to go into oil and gas and the person is in real estate. It's still similar. Both are still capital intensive. Both still require liquidity. I don't know. So for you to say, no, I will only until I meet somebody in oil and gas. There's still similarities here and there. Talk to them. Ask questions. Sit down with those ahead. Right? Read their books. Sometimes people want to waste my time. I'll say, this thing you're asking me is in my book. Right? One day, settling down with the book, you'll be fine. Right? You'll be fine. But no, they want to, but unfortunately, I don't always have the time to then sit you down and then we start all this long story. But you can pick up the book and you already are thinking at my level. Because how to understand how people think is in their book. How they reason, their mentality is there. When you read a man's book, you're having a mental intercourse with his brain.
One last question.
Yes.
So I'll combine it with one online.
Okay.
The question for me in person.
Okay.
So, what's your view about, so now students in Switzerland maybe having some sort of funding, and in terms of going into even real estate investment in Switzerland, and from our conversation today, some of the things coming to my mind is, okay, if personally they cannot go into it, but then maybe pulling resources together to be able to venture into real estate investment. So in your experience, what would you advise with respect to that when people want to pull resources together to do joint investment in real estate? What are the things to be careful for now in the context of the people here or students who want to use it to empower? That's on one part. And then linking it up with this online question from Peter. So he's saying that as a beginner, how can you invest in real estate?
Okay, as a beginner, how can you invest in real estate? The first thing is the knowledge. Like I told you, I'm doing a training. It's 5-hour training on real estate. Next Saturday, you can attend virtually or physically if you're in London. Physically, if you're not in London, you can attend virtually. Start with the knowledge. Understand the various. In the training, I'll be teaching you 7 types of real estate. So a lot of times people are on my neck about, oh, I want to start development. Development is just one, and it's the most capital intensive. There are several other aspects that you don't even need to bring in money. You just probably need to get accreditation, and then you're good to go, right? I'll give an example. My agent now is making $300,000 on a property I just did with him in the US. 1 month, $300,000. One deal.
Wow. Hey.
Right? So, and how much is it to even get certification as an agent? It's less than $2,000, I'm sure. Okay, and I'm sure my deal is not the only deal my agent has done.
GTX offers that certification?
No.
Okay.
We do our own part of training and certification, but different countries have their different rules to be. But you can look at where you are and what certification you can. But we'll talk more during the training so that you understand. I'm just giving an example of one aspect of real estate, which is being an agent, and how it's not in any way it's capital intensive, but can be a major game changer for you, because you don't know. Just the same way we moved to the US and then we needed to acquire massive property, and boom, we needed an agent. Boom, the agent has made $300,000 on us.
Wow.
Right? Who says that same thing will not happen in Switzerland? Right? So there are about 7 different ways to do real estate that I'm going to be teaching you about during that. So start with the knowledge, understand real estate. That's the beginning. Now, as to putting funds together to invest in real estate, the terms has to be clear, right? How do people exit? So if we are 10 of us, if one of us just wake up one day and say he wants to exit, what's the term? You have to make it clear, right? How do we divide our profit? What is unit? What's the minimum each party needs to bring in, right? So also, what are the values? What binds us? Doing investment with people that you don't have anything in common with is an issue, right? Are we coming together because we're black people and want to stamp our footprint, as that we're also investors in this land? That is enough emotion. I mean, you and I were discussing this thing about how religion does well in Africa. Okay? The level of excellence you see religious institution exhibit. We just had the Lagos Experience, largest gospel concert in the whole of the world, organized by a church. We have Shiloh, we have Redeem Camp hosting. I mean, the crowd in Redeem Camp is oftentimes more than those in Mecca when they do pilgrimage, and yet they manage all those people. Now, why are we not replicating that in politics and in business? You know why? The people do not feel like it's a cause. The people who grow churches are doing it because there's something divine, there's something, so I feel it's my Father's house, right? I'm investing in my Father's house. My Father will bless me. There's something, how do I put it? There's an attachment, right? Be that an intangible one for that matter. Now, guess what? Here in Switzerland, you have that. In government, you have that. In the private sector, you make somebody the chairman or the CEO of the Swiss bank. He feels like during my time as the CEO, we're going to turn the Swiss bank around. There's a sense of, I must do something different now that I'm the CEO of Swiss bank. Right? Oh, he's a mayor of something. I must do something different. Back at home, we feel, well, the Nigeria is owned by some mystical person. Right? And it's my time to eat. And everybody around you believe the same.
Yes,
Uncle,
yes.
congratulations, it's our turn.
It's our turn.
Below come. Same thing in business. The day you get that promotion, the first thing your wife is saying is, have they increased your salary? Meanwhile, the day they appoint you head of ushering in church, your wife is holding your hand and say, let's pray that you will not fail God. You see the difference? Nobody's asking that, are they paying you? Even your family are encouraging you and say, it's God's work, we must succeed here. So, until we bring that kind of mindset, right, into business, people begin to go into business and see business as a ministry, as a mission, as something divine. I tell myself, and that's why I'm hardworking with my company, I tell myself we're changing lives. These 300 people we have employed, if we don't pay them, where do we throw them? Right? Who takes care of them? Who takes care of their children? Am I making sense at all? So I have developed that sense of mission, that sense of something divine around the work I do. The same thing with Elon Musk. Here Elon Musk talk about how he thinks his company is changing the world, and it's you that you think he's the richest man. In his mind, he will even tell you he's not been sleeping well, because there's that sense of we're changing the world. An average Nigerian entrepreneur does not even think that way. He thinks, let me just start business. Maybe I will hit billions. I'll just hammer. And then I'll just be enjoying my life. And that's why their businesses are short-lived. Those of us that you people say we are growing, you need to say our work ethic. Because we don't see it as some hammer or anything. We see it as there's a mission, there's a work. We need to, right now I'm thinking, we need to raise investors. We need to, and I'm seeing beyond that. Imagine one day somebody driving that estate and say, an African owned this 500 unit green and smart home, the largest of its type in the whole of America. How that changes the psyche of any white man about black people.
Black people, yes.
Okay? That's how I'm thinking. I'm not thinking of, how much of that will be my money. I'm thinking, how many people are we going to employ? Do you see the difference now? And that's why even our businesses are not working. Because from beginning, your motive for wanting to even start the business is to make profit, make money, just live big life. Your employees also know that. So you attract your kind. I hope I answered.
Yes.
Perfectly. Come on, if I did well, give me a clap. Come on. Okay. Those of you joining us online, thank you for watching. Amazing audience. We've had a lot of you who joined. You can buy the books on Amazon. Just go to Amazon and buy it. Then if you want to attend the real estate training next week or the business opportunity masterclass virtually or physically, send a DM to this Instagram page. Thank you all. Love you from all of us here at Geneva, Switzerland. Yeah, come on, let's wave to our online audience. We've had over 40 people watching. Love you.